Coach, what are your expectations as we head into the 2025 baseball season this year at Carroll University?
The generic answer is the expectations are always the same, right? The expectations is to come in, compete for a conference championship, win a conference championship. Obviously, would love to advance to an NCAA regional and play at that level. But I think this year, we've kind of established ourselves as kind of a top of the pack team. I know I can almost guarantee when the votes come out, they're not going to show it that way, and we love that role. We've had that role ever since we came back to the CCIW, the role of kind of being the underdog, right? The team that nobody thinks is gonna finish at the top of the pack. But I think we definitely have the pieces. We definitely have the tools, both offensively, defensively. A good mix of veterans and some young guys that should give us a chance to compete day in and day out. And there's no reason why we shouldn't finish top half of the conference. Looking at the conference tournament at the end of the year and looking to compete for a conference championship.
And what are some of the strengths of this year's teams?
Like I said, I think it's a good mix. We've got a good group of veterans, some guys who have been around and have some good experience. And then we've got a good group of freshmen as well, a couple of transfers that came in that are going to supply us with some good depth. Pitching staff-wise, it might be the deepest staff that I've had since I've been here in my 11 years. So it's nice to have some of that depth. Hitting-wise, we've got a good blend of some guys in the middle of the order that can hit with some power. And we can surround them with some guys that can run a little bit. So it's definitely the most athletic team offensively. I think the most speed that we've had as a team coming into this year. So I think those are what's going to be our kind of our calling card for the year.
And can you talk a little bit about the schedule for this year, starting this weekend with Berea?
Hopefully Berea happens. I know right now we're in the process of moving some things around. I know we're going to move from Kentucky over to St. Louis, and we're going to try to play Sunday and Monday in St. Louis, hoping that the snow that they got overnight melts by the weekend. So it's always nice to get out and get started early. Most people think it's crazy to start trying to play in February, but trying to play a 40-game regular season schedule, plus we get another 14, 16 varsity reserve level games. So trying to fit those 55, 60 games in, trying to spread it out definitely is helping. So between that weekend, we'll come home. We're scheduled to be at home next week. Hopefully, if we get up into the 40s and kind of get rid of the snow, we can start our home slate next week with Concordia. Otherwise, next weekend, I know we've got MSOE and Lakeland coming in for some non-conference stuff before we head south eventually to Pensacola. We'll be down there from the 13th to, I think, the 17th, something like that. Play 5 varsity games down there, a couple more reserve games. Gives us a lot of opportunity. We try to get as many non-conference games in as we can, leading into, obviously, the grueling CCIW schedule when we get to that point. So I know the CCIW, we kicked that off in the end of March. It's going to be a competitive league again, top to bottom. I think those teams that were at the bottom of the conference last year are definitely going to be better. And then some of those teams that were at the top of the standings last year return a lot of good players. So it's going to be a competitive dog-eat-dog conference, but I think we are well equipped to compete from it from day one. So it should be a good year, and hoping the weather just cooperates.